Hey guys, and recently there have been a lot of patents that have been released about the Switch 2, and not only do they confirm what we've been suspecting already based on the leaks and things they've been hinting in the trailer, like with the mouse capabilities, but there have also been some new things that were shown off that we didn't know before that will likely be features in the Switch 2 and various things related to the Switch 2, like controllers. So before we get into this, I wanted to mention that I have a goal to hit 30,000 subscribers, and if I hit that goal, I will give away a copy of the new Mario Kart game, so consider subscribing if you enjoy my content. But the first thing that people have noticed that was kind of released about a week ago, I believe, was basically the confirmation of the mouse capabilities. I mean, I think it was pretty much soft confirmed, from the trailer and all of the leaks with the optical sensor and everything, that the Switch 2 was going to have mouse capabilities. I don't know what else the Joy-Con sliding around, on a surface is supposed to represent. So it's, pretty much confirmed. But these patents confirm it even further, since it basically shows, a graphic of, how you use the Joy-Con as a mouse, and it's basically what we were expecting. But there's also some other interesting uses in some of the graphics. One where with one hand you use it with the analog stick, and the other you use the other right Joy-Con as a mouse, which I think is pretty interesting, and I definitely think it could be used in that way, especially for Splatoon, or even Pikmin, or even ports of PC games. I think that would be pretty interesting. There's a lot of possibilities for what they could do with the Joy-Con mouse capability. And a couple days ago, Anton Retro actually suggested the idea of how this would be implemented, or one feature on the console that could implement this with the C button, or at least the button on the console, that was shown in the trailer, that being, basically a generic button, that was shown as a C button in the leaks. And he mentioned that it could be a cursor button that switches over to the mouse controls, or at least basically opens up a thing where you'd switch it to the mouse controls. I think that's definitely a possibility for what it could be. That makes so much sense now that I'm thinking about it, now that it has these mouse capabilities. I think there were also leaks as well that said something about a cursor with the mouse. I don't know, I don't remember exactly, but that just makes so much sense. So it's pretty much confirmed, soft confirmed at this point, that it's gonna be gonna have a mouse capability. It was already kind of in the trailer. It was basically hinted at, what else is a Joy-Con on a Surface supposed to be? That has to be a mouse capability. But moving on, there were also some other interesting things that were shown off in the patents as well, and that is a Pro Controller. And this one is pretty interesting. It seems to be a very rough design of the Pro Controller, but basically it seems like the Pro Controller will be able to be split apart, like how Joy-Con are, and will also have the mouse capabilities as well, since it also seems to have an optical sensor and will also function in that way, which is very interesting, and it has a pretty interesting design as well. In the patent, it kind of seems to be the grips seem to be pretty large, and there seems to be a very small area where the buttons and analog sticks are. I'm hoping that's not how the actual controller is, because that kind of looks uncomfortable. I'm hoping that's only a rough sketch of, or rough design of what it's supposed to be, because that does not look comfortable at all, with how it looks and everything, and how it basically shows the triggers as being two of the small triggers on the top. That really looks uncomfortable. I really hope that's not what the controller actually looks like. I'm hoping that it's more like the regular Pro Controller, but will just be able to be split apart. So, but I do think the idea of being able to split the Pro Controller apart is really cool. And, like, cause I like the idea of being able to, like, play the Joy-Con, like, split apart, like one in each hand and everything. So I think it would be cool to be able to do that with the Pro Controller. Like, not just for the mouse capability, which, like, that already allows that to happen with that design, but also, like, just to be able to play it comfortably, like, if you feel like it. So I think that's pretty interesting, like, how it's likely gonna have, like, a design where you split it apart. I think that is a very interesting idea, and it makes this mouse capability, like, even more interesting. Like, at first, we just thought it was gonna be, like, some little novelty, but it seems like it's gonna be much bigger than a lot of people were expecting. Like, it seems like Nintendo's really going out of their way to incorporate this in a lot of ways. The only, like, weird thing about this is, like handheld mode, because you're not going to be able to do the mouse capabilities in handheld mode, unless there's, like, some kind of workaround or something, I don't know. But it does look pretty interesting, and I'm glad they are doing some big new gimmick with this console. Like, so many people thought they're not really doing anything based on the reveal trailer, but it seems like this mouse thing is much bigger than, like, most people were expecting. And that brings us to the final, like, patent thing here that was actually even more recent. This was, like, from a couple days ago. And that is the fact that you can orient the Joy-Con in multiple ways, or I guess, like, you can kind of flip them in the opposite direction, which you can't do on the base Switch. Basically, as, like, the drawing shows, you could basically have them, like, upside down, which is pretty interesting. I guess you could do that if you, like, want to have the headphone jack kind of coming out from the bottom if you, like, prefer it that way. But even though it's something small and trivial, I do think it's interesting that Nintendo is seemingly letting you do that. And the design of the Switch 2 seemingly, like, allows that as well, like, with the magnetic Joy-Cons that just kind of attach, like, horizontally from the console. So you probably will be able to do that, which I think is pretty interesting. And definitely, like, allows for, like, a little more accessibility here. Like, in general, I feel like how Nintendo has been designing, like, a lot of these controllers, and also the mouse capability in general, it definitely opens up a lot of possibilities for, like, accessibility options and things. And I think Nintendo could be, like, possibly implementing more, like, accessibility options in the future, like, with certain controllers and things. Since, like, the Switch 2 definitely seems to be more flexible for that than the Switch 1. Like, maybe, they'll allow for, like, more, like, kind of like how Xbox had the, adaptive controller. Maybe they'll do something like that for the Switch 2, or, like, allow for something like that, since the magnetic Joy-Con thing seems to be very flexible, and, like, allows for, like, a lot of different options like that, which I think is pretty interesting, and I hope is the case. But yeah, these patents seem to be really interesting, and it definitely shows that the Switch 2 is going to be more of an upgrade, like, gimmick-wise, than we think it is. Like, especially with the Pro Controller. I think that Pro Controller design is really interesting, but I am hoping it's more like the traditional Pro Controller, but you could just split it apart. But yeah, I think this is really interesting. But let me know your thoughts on these patents down in the comments. So anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!